Oh, yes, here we are, Backlash Week, and this is WWE Now's Backlash Preview, a WWE and Fanatics original production. I am Sam Roberts. With us, the one and the only Megan Morant. And Megan,
Sam.
how are you feeling, first of all?
Fantastic.
You feel
Backlash
good?
Week, baby.
Backlash Week is right.
Backlash.
Backlash. With us to celebrate Backlash. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the highly esteemed Big E is here.
Hey guys, what's happening? Speaking of, isn't it crazy how quickly Danhausen has just taken over? I have so many
Amazing.
Danhausen-isms just floating in my head at all times.
I love it.
There's a lot of
get
Danhausen
enough.
discussion to have here today. Imagine being one of the people that was on Danhausen from the very beginning. Now, whoever was on Danhausen from the beginning, you'd have to categorize as a genius. I
I'm
would
just
think.
surprised you haven't gotten tired from all the victory laps you've been taking.
Well, my shoulders are a little thrown out from patting myself on the back, but that's neither here nor there. Listen, it's not about me, Megan. Come on. It's about Backlash. Backlash. And a low-key loaded card. It came out of nowhere. You know, it seems like we were just at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are at Backlash. And one of the matches that we're getting at Backlash is a match that a lot of people speculated would happen at WrestleMania. It did not due to injury. And here we are. Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins one-on-one in Tampa. First of all, E, I'll ask you this. This was a question that was brought up by Seth Rollins 2 weeks ago, maybe, on Monday Night Raw. Is Braun Breaker ready?
He is. I think he is. You know, and it's so interesting thinking, too, about the first time we saw Braun Breaker on the main roster, really, truly felt like, all right, we're going to build around this guy. He is going to be the face of the company. But, you know, he was out with injury. And in that very short time span, we got to see the rise of Oba, of Trick, of even Danhausen. We could see all these new stars in WWE. Easy for me to say, in WWE. But, you know, it's very... I think we can very quickly move on to the next hot thing, the next big thing. But let's not forget who Braun Breaker is. I think a lot of that sizzle has been placed on other talent, on other superstars. But Braun is still that guy. And I think he's going to enter this match now even more motivated, now to demonstrate that he is indeed someone who belongs at the very top of the card. So I'm excited to see what Braun does. I think this is, of all his matches on the main roster so far, I think this one has the most pressure because it's very easy for us in this industry to move on to the next great thing. So Braun really has to assert and demonstrate that not only can he go toe-to-toe with Seth Rollins, but he can beat legends like Seth and then hopefully ascend to the world title picture.
That's saying a lot, too, his match with the most amount of pressure, because I think back to that first Raw of the year at Madison Square Garden, right? And for me, the build to that match against CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship was really the moment that, you know, we all saw the potential in Braun Breaker. We all saw he had it when he was down in NXT. But when he cut that promo leading into the match against Punk at Madison Square Garden, I said, this guy is the now. He's no longer the future. He is the now. And this is one of the reasons I'm looking forward so much to this match against Seth Rollins, because to your point, E, we do forget quickly. We have short-term memory loss here in WWE. We're distracted by the next shiny object. And I can't wait to see this match between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, because Braun has proven that he's the now before, but he's got to remind everybody once again.
It's a little gimmick infringement-y, though, because that's what they've been calling this podcast, The Now. That's everybody's been saying that's The Now. I listened to you guys on The Now. So
The Now?
Yeah. That's just a thing. I'm not saying it. But I heard it.
Maybe we could add Braun Breaker to the graphic.
I wouldn't mind that. I
That'd
wouldn't
be
mind
pretty
it
good.
at all. I think it would be really, really good. Do you think that the sprint down the WrestleMania ramp, when that was really Braun Breaker's return to the WWE, did that count as a long-distance run?
I
Really
think
fast.
that's more of a dash.
Dash.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if it was 800 meters, we can call that a run. 400-meter dash.
Look, you talk about pressure, and you talk about the now, here on the now, and where Braun Breaker is at. I think you also have to keep in mind where Seth Rollins is at. I think it's a tricky thing when you're leading a faction full of the future, because, I mean, I would guess that if you're in Seth Rollins' position, you want the next big guys around you, but you don't want them to realize they're the current big guys. You want to keep your standing right, and let's be 100% honest. Seth Rollins is 0-1 since returning to the WWE. Gunther beat him at WrestleMania. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Braun Breaker, but if Seth Rollins does not beat Braun Breaker at Backlash, where does Seth Rollins' career go? Where does his revenge path against Paul Heyman go? I mean, this thing could completely be stopped at step one.
I agree. And I think so often, like Seth's in this position where you kind of wait for guys like him who have done so many great things. Where is that tipping point? The point where his career is no longer ascending. It's no longer about going after world titles. And now he becomes a bit of a gatekeeper. And Seth is not there yet. But I think if we see him lose definitively to Braun, which there's no shame in that, and if he can't regain that momentum, you start to wonder if his best days are behind him. And I think we're going to see a really, really motivated Braun, but I also think we're going to see a very motivated Seth. He also is going to prove that he still is that guy. And look, Braun is also going to be in the ring with... I think people are expecting Braun to have his best match ever. Seth is someone who forces you to elevate your game to levels you have never gone to before. And I expect that from Braun at Backlash.
What I keep coming back to with Seth, though, is that when he built the vision, he betrayed a lot of people. And actions have consequences, and people don't forget. Seth Rollins is someone right now who has 0 friends in the locker room. We saw the reaction that the Street Profits gave Seth Rollins last week on Monday Night Raw. If the Street Profits aren't willing to be friends with you, who is right now in WWE? I think Seth's back is against the wall. And also Paul Heyman, he's looking for a meal ticket.
I would say Paul Heyman's interest in Braun Breaker has definitely elevated.
Do you want this guy to starve?
Paul Heyman?
Yeah.
No. He needs to stay fed. That's Paul Heyman. He will always stay fed.
Yeah,
That's Paul in the wrestling industry. Paul Heyman is not going to starve, but that's a great point. Brock Lesnar leaves his boots in the ring at WrestleMania. Yeah, it's an emotional moment. Yeah, it's one for us all to talk about. But the reality is that now that Paul Heyman has left Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins has left Paul Heyman, and Brock Lesnar has conceivably retired, Paul Heyman, for the first time this decade, is without a top guy. Paul Heyman is, I would imagine, more invested than ever at making Braun Breaker a top guy right now.
No, I think you're spot on. And I think Braun having that tutelage, having someone like Paul Heyman in his ear, I think is going to be really good for him. But you talk about Seth not having friends. I do think Seth, in many ways, we can go back to the Shield days. But besides that, I think so much of Seth's best work is when he's just focused on himself, when it's just Seth Rollins. Because I think too often when you're, my case aside, but when you're very used to having a lot of other people around you, sometimes it can be a crutch. Sometimes you're always looking for that person who's going to help you out. Where is the interference coming? Your eyes are on the outside of the ring waiting for that help. I think Seth going into this match, knowing there will be no help, there will be no Paul Heyman to slide him a foreign object, there will be no one to save him. I think Seth will come in with that extra level of preparedness, that extra level of head on a swivel, and I think he's just going to be more focused than ever because of that.
I also think that we have another big match that, to me, I feel like is just going to be a good, old-fashioned, one-on-one, incredible wrestling match. Io versus Asuka at Backlash. Io and Asuka, two of the best to ever do it in the division. And I think Io has gotten a lot of credit for that lately. And I think Asuka has not so much. I think people have kind of slept a little bit on what Asuka's capable of, on what Asuka's doing, on how incredibly good Asuka is. And I think at Backlash, being in the ring with Io Sky is going to give Asuka the opportunity to remind everybody why that catchphrase, nobody is ready for Asuka, is a thing.
But people forgetting about who Asuka is has nothing to do with Asuka's performance or a dip in what she has brought to the table. It's simply because we have seen less of her in the ring. We've seen a lot of backstage, yelling. We've seen her in tags. We have really not seen Asuka in this position to have a big singles match in a PLE in quite some time. But look, if you love the craft of professional wrestling, if you love two great workers, this is your match. This is the one you're excited for because these two still got it. I'm sure Asuka could wrestle into her 60s and 70s and will still have it because the way this woman moves, her explosiveness, her technical ability, I feel like she is still, it's crazy to think all the legendary things she's done in Japan and in WWE still probably might be the most underrated superstar we have on this roster. We don't talk enough about how incredible she is. And I think in many ways, Io, because she has, coming off of a really banner year a year prior and having that big match at WrestleMania, she has kind of been in this role of being Rhea's friend, being in tag matches with Rhea. And I'm so excited that we're getting this singles match again. I think in many ways, seeing Rhea and Io go to separate brands is bittersweet for a lot of fans who love seeing them together. But I think it will force the two of them to really elevate their game on the singles side because Io is truly pound for pound one of the best workers in the world. Same thing for Asuka. So I am truly excited. There's obviously a lot of history as well, and I know that's going to play into this match. But as far as just technical ability, this is the match that I think is going to steal the show.
Be careful, Biggie. If you say too much about Io and Rhea, Sam will accuse you of being a hater. So just be careful.
That's weird. That feels. What's that? Thou doth protest too much. Nobody brought up Megan being a hater until Megan just kind of was that a confession?
I don't know. You was talking about Io and Rhea, and I was like, I just want to warn my friend Biggie to be careful.
Future.
I don't think.
I know you well. I spend a lot of time with you.
First of all, Big E just came from a very positive place. You just came from a very negative place. So I would feel like you just kind of spelled. You just what did the children say? You snitched on yourself there? Is that what they would say? That was tough. But I mean, now that you bring it up, you are a hater. Have been one for a long time. And you have been chomping at the bit while everybody in the world was enjoying Rhea and Io together as best friends, uniting as this incredible tag team. Every week, you would be like, when are they going to fight? When are they going to fight? They must hate each other.
Well,
when
I would just say, do you think it bothers Rhea that she's never pinned Io?
I mean, it bothers her. She cries on her WWE Women's Championship title. Here's my question for you, Megan, from your perspective of haterdom. Do you feel like Io is going to be sending a message? This is Io's opportunity to be back in a big singles PLE match against somebody like Asuka. Do you think that this is the moment that she going back to reminding people, we were talking about Asuka reminding people, is this where Io goes, hey, like, I hope that you guys haven't stopped putting me in contention for singles gold?
Yes, and I would like to see a little bit of an edgier side of Io Sky, right? I'd like to see Io get a bit gritty here because we saw what happened between Asuka and Io and how it was very emotional for Io to be treated the way she was by Asuka. Here's Asuka who paved the way for someone like Io Sky to come along and have the career that she's had in WWE. So when Asuka treated Io the way that she did, we saw an emotional side of Io. Now it's been some time. This has been building for a while between Io and Asuka. I think Io has an edge. I think she's all business. I think not having a match at WrestleMania is something that she certainly hasn't forgotten. And I think she's looking to send this message not only to Asuka, but to the entire WWE universe that she is the best wrestler on the planet, and she's going to show everyone at Backlash.
Wow. I mean, listen, Asuka the same way, right? Asuka's probably heard that opinion too and doesn't love that everybody credits Io with all this stuff, especially in such a combative, negative way. But I will tell you that even the haters are going to be invited this July when Fanatics Fest.
So I'll be there.
Return.
Haters welcome.
Yeah, you will. It's going to be the haters ball when Megan shows up. The #1 sports fan festival, Fanatics Fest, returns to the Javits Center in New York City from July 16th through the 19th of 2026. It's a must-attend event for WWE fans. You'll be able to meet your favorite superstars, watch live WWE podcasts, and enjoy surprise appearances all weekend long. WWE superstar autographs and photo opportunities at Fanatics Fest are on sale now. Confirmed WWE superstars for photo and autograph opportunities include Braun Breaker, Drew McIntyre, Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus, and Charlotte Flair. More WWE superstars will continue to be announced, so fans should stay tuned to Fanatics Fest social channels for the latest updates. Fanatics Fest tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com. And, we've been having a little fun. I've been, getting some shots in at you. Everybody's having a good time here. But if we could just take a moment to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more solemn, and realize that, one of the big matches at Backlash on Saturday is, unfortunately, there's a dark cloud over it, as on Friday night we did, unfortunately, lay to rest the Gingerbread Man. Mm-hmm. He passed on. May he rest in pieces. Gingerbread Man, unfortunately, no longer with us as we look ahead at Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. And for you, do you find that the loss of the Gingerbread Man, the medical, they threw up the X, mm-hmm. and then medical coming out right in the middle of Trick's promo of all times to tell us that, unfortunately, the Gingerbread Man did not pull through. Do you think that heightens the emotionality of this match at Backlash?
No, okay. I do not. I do not. And the way you introduced that too, I was like, is there something really serious on this card that I was unaware? And I was like, did I miss something? And then when I realized where this was going, no, look, this match, as much as we all miss the Gingerbread, I love shenanigans too. R.I.P. the Gingerbread Man. Okay. But let's get to the meat of this matter. All right. Mm-hmm. I think Sami Zayn is at a real crossroads in his career. This man, not that long ago, truly one of the most beloved figures in all of WWE. He has given us so much. To see this turn, and what I'm curious is, I don't know if it's just because of Trick's magnetism and his star power that people are turning on Sami. Is it the Trick effect, or is it just people tired of what Sami has to say and what he's doing right now? But this is the most frazzled version of Sami Zayn that I've seen in quite some time. Like someone who is on the verge of snapping, if he hasn't snapped already. But I think this is really an opportunity for Trick to really solidify his stardom. If he beats Sami Zayn again, a first ballot Hall of Famer, a WrestleMania main eventer, a man who has really done it all besides holding the world title in WWE, if he's able to beat a living legend in Sami Zayn in Tampa, the rocket ship for Trick just continues to take off. Because I think him beating Sami once is something to be very proud of, but him beating Sami twice to prove he is definitively the better man really is making a statement that not only am I here as a young guy who has some promise, but I'm the now. I'm not the future. I'm not someone who, in a couple years, 3 years, maybe we'll see him do some cool things at WrestleMania. No, I've arrived right now, and I'm ready to take this company by the horns.
Do we have a trademark lawyer? We need to make sure we are known as the now. This show has got to be the now, because it's been thrown around and bandied about irresponsibly, I feel like. And we really need to stake a claim to this the now thing, because obviously it's catching on. Obviously it's on the tip of everybody's tongue. Do you think, though, for both of you guys, that Sami Zayn being gaslit by the entire SmackDown locker room, with Joe Tess taking his glasses off to solemnly make that really tough announcement that the Gingerbread Man hadn't made it, Nick Aldis putting up a graphic that the Gingerbread Man was going to have a funeral on SmackDown, do you think that this is going to motivate Sami to be a better Sami, or do you think we're going to get back to, Sami Zayn beating up water bottles like on his road to WrestleMania?
I think Sami is very close to snapping.
Yeah.
I think very close to snapping. But what I worry about with Sami Zayn was really at the beginning of the year, Sami Zayn cut that emotional promo where he talked about being at John Cena's retirement match. And he was sitting in the crowd with his son. And his son was asking him how many times he's been a world champion. And he had to look his son in the eye and tell him that he's never been a world champion in WWE. And Sami stated his intentions to go after the world title. But if you can't beat Trick Williams and get the United States title back, where does Sami go from here?
Probably jail, because homicide.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about
prison.
that at all. Yeah, prison. Hey, prison did good things for Dom, so you never know.
That's true.
People come out of prison a changed person.
We could get a new Sami Zayn.
That we could. I think you're spot on, Megan. I think what was kind of troubling for me was seeing Sami not whimsically attack the Gingerbread Man, but seeing the way that all unfolded. I was like, he is too invested in this. He is taking this way too seriously. And my concern is that he is not as focused as he needs to be. I think he's too concerned with the crowd reception, with the mind games, with Lil Boat, Yachty out there as well. There are a lot of other things that Sami, I think, is concerned with. And I think it's hard when you're someone who has done so many incredible things in this industry, watching a young superstar, not just on this rise, but really just kind of snatch the limelight from you. This doesn't feel like two stars with the same reception from fans. It feels like people are all in on Trick Williams, and I get it. The way this man, every time he cuts a promo, I'm putting my phone down. I'm not talking to anyone else. I'm locked in. His charisma is unparalleled. I don't think we've seen anything quite like him from a young talent in a long, long time. Someone with that kind of panache and command of who he is, the way he understands what he wants to get across. I haven't seen anything quite like Trick Williams, maybe ever. There's some parallels to Booker T, who had some time mentoring him in NXT, but Trick is really carving out a path of his own, and his star power is truly undeniable. And I think the fear is for Sami Zayn is your desire to get back to that world title. If you lose to Trick, I think now you're in that position potentially of being that gatekeeper, of being that guy who is now like, okay, if the young stars can beat you, that's their ability to get to the next level. You become a stepping stone. Sami Zayn, I know him. He is still hungry for that world championship. He is not ready to be a stepping stone. He is not working to be someone that others can use to gain their momentum. That's not, and I think if he wants to stop that, if he wants to dead that, he needs to have an incredible performance in Tampa. He needs to beat Trick. He really does.
And then I think about the backstage interactions between Sami and Cody Rhodes, and that has to get in Sami's head, right? I mean, Cody Rhodes saying, you and I don't have anything in common, Sami. Like we are not similar. We are not the same. And Sami making this comparison to the type of performer they are, the type of professional wrestler they are, and just being shut down by Cody Rhodes.
It wasn't cool, but I do think, you're right about Trick Williams. Here's the thing about Trick. He's not just another cookie cutter superstar.
Oh. All right, should we talk about tops?
Rest in peace, by the way. Yeah, you talking about Fanatic Slam? Fanatic Slam by Tops? Yes, you can step into the fallout of WrestleMania with the WWE Slam Backlash box featuring a dynamic mix of base cards and premium hits. This release captures the intensity, rivalries, and momentum shifts that shape WWE's next chapter. Chase must have signatures and dual signature cards from top talent alongside visually striking tilt cards that bring the action to life. Look for exclusive inserts like Tampa Takeover and Aftershock, highlighting superstars that left a lasting impact in the wake of WrestleMania. And be sure to join the Slam Backlash watch party on Saturday, May 9th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, where users can follow every moment of Backlash while collecting free packs, coins, and profile avatars as one of WWE's most explosive rivalries unfolds. WWE Slam by Tops. Download now. And I think that we had brought up a moment ago, the man himself, who we found out will be in Tampa, has a history making announcement to make, something like that. John Cena. John Cena will be a part of Backlash. He'll be there. I think it's to, well, I would just say to make an impactful announcement. The tweet that he put out, there it is. Because John Cena is one with his words, okay? He said he is so excited to break that's what it was, break some history making news. He says, I can't promise it'll be perfect, but I can promise it will change the WWE experience for superstars and fans. So we will see John Cena in Tampa at Backlash. There will be something that will change that experience. There's been wild speculation as to what it could be, but I do believe that any time the Never Seen 17 GOAT steps into any WWE show, it's exciting.
Of course. I mean, this is just months removed from him retiring from being an in-ring performer, which was very emotional for a lot of people.
It's tough.
The fact that we get to see John Cena at, we saw him host WrestleMania, the fact that he has this surprise announcement. I can't wait to hear what the announcement is. And the fact that Cena's making this announcement tells me that I'm interested in whatever this announcement is. Anytime John Cena's on our TV screens, I'm locked in. So I can't wait.
Yeah, and agreed. I also have a guest that I feel really good about. I think he has a secret son that he's been hiding from the world, and that son is also named John Cena, so we can continue to see John Cena on our screens. Yeah, I think the son is like, early, mid-20s, so I think we're going to continue to see John Cena Jr. Actually, is Cena's the junior? John Cena the third?
Oh, it'd be John Cena the
That's
third.
my guess.
Yeah.
I
John Cena
think
the
we have
third.
an illegitimate son who is now going to be introduced to the world. And he'll wear the jorts as well. Yeah,
That would be
so
great.
Wow,
we'll
that'd
That would be
continue
great.
to see.
Because
That's-
I'm
yeah,
not
that's what I
ready
wanna
to see the jorts go away. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Although I am holding out hope. There is one thing that I would love to see, I think more than anything else.
Oh, you've been talking about this a lot.
Yeah. I think John Cena he can kill two birds with one stone, as it were. His announcement can also apply to another match that may be the one I'm looking forward to the most. John Cena collects $400, human dollars, to be Danhausen's tag team partner.
Human monies.
Human money in John Cena's pocket, 4 bills. John Cena and Danhausen together.
So just what, the retirement just goes out the window?
For Danhausen has a way. Danhausen has these incredible supernatural powers. Maybe John Cena doesn't take off the suit, so it doesn't fully count. But I mean, you wouldn't forgive John Cena, even though he specifically said, I'm definitely not coming back. He didn't know Danhausen was on his way. When John Cena said, he's definitely retiring, so please don't say maybe a little more at WrestleMania, maybe a little more here, maybe a little more there. He didn't know that crate was going to be delivered to Chicago and wrestling would be changed forever. He did not know. And you know he felt that in the ring at WrestleMania, standing next to Danhausen. A lot of people say John Cena got the Danhausen rub that night. And I don't think that John Cena has had enough. I think that listen, things change. I think John Cena and Danhausen would be a hell of a team. That's all.
I think it's wishful
I can
thinking.
see
Don't
it.
get your hopes up.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'd like to see someone. I'd like to see. We have Royce Keys. That's what
Okay.
I'd like to see in this spot. Someone who I think has been very impressive on SmackDown. But I'd love to see this spot given to one of the newer cats who've walked through these doors lately. But I think Royce would be a great option. But I really have no idea. I'm really curious to see who ends up in this spot.
I got it. Undertaker. Let's get the Undertaker in there.
He's also retired.
I keep forgetting. Somebody's got to give me the roster. I keep forgetting. No, but he still comes out like on the motorcycle. He just retired the hat and everything.
But if The Undertaker comes out on the motorcycle, I would assume it's to put Danhausen in the Hall of Fame.
That's true. I forgot.
That's a great
I
point.
forgot.
It'd be
That-
fantastic.
when you see Taker these days, that's what I would assume. But actually, so we had an interaction on the red carpet where Danhausen kind of forced me into putting him in the Hall of Fame. So he might already be in for all I know.
Do you have that ability?
I don't, but I did not want to be cursed, so I just agreed.
That's really, really smart.
Sam got cursed.
Yeah, I did. It was tough. It was rough. Becky put him up to it. That's a story for another time. But listen, we do, and you were bringing this up at the top of the show, E. We do have to take a moment to sit there and say that maybe the most unlikely superstar of all time, and I don't mean superstar in the sense that you kind of brand everybody with they're not wrestlers, they're superstars. I mean superstar in the most traditional sense of the word. Somebody that has, resonated beyond the WWE already. I get hit up by people who aren't watching the product week to week, but they go, I'm obsessed with this Danhausen. And to watch this guy have this debut in Chicago, where everybody said, what is this? Many said, this is a complete disaster. They've destroyed this whole thing. To now, only like months later, on a 5-match show, Danhausen is in a PLE match. I mean, you cannot overstate how massive that is.
But the sentiment didn't even take months to change. It was the next time you saw him on TV people were already behind him. And I remember I was backstage watching, I'm not going to name names, but some other personnel, and a lot of people were very quickly to say, that was rough. I don't know about this Danhausen. Good luck trying to get over here. And it didn't take him long at all. I had a chance to talk to him a couple different times in Vegas, but I think his mind for this, his passion for this, his creativity is so unparalleled. So it's such a beautiful story to watch, because I love when talent come in and people are like, they don't have it, I don't see it, and then they're able very quickly to turn that sentiment around. And man, he just feels like he's been everywhere. He has been a delight. Anytime he's on my TV, I giggle, I laugh, I love what he brings to the table. Even seeing, like you said, that moment with John Cena at WrestleMania, man, I think of a guy like him just in a very real way. I think of someone like him who's been in the industry for so long. I can imagine there were so many times along the way before he got to WWE. One, I'm sure I don't know if he ever thought he'd get here. And if he did, to be in the ring with Miz, and Kit has also done a phenomenal job as well. Love me some Kit Wilson.
Incredible.
He is someone who has maximized his minutes as well. But Danhausen, I think, is just a testament of someone who just refused to be put in a box. He is a one-of-one. There is no one can do what he does.
I hate to correct you.
He's different, and I love it.
He was in a box. That was him in the box.
I didn't mean quite literally,
Oh,
okay?
sorry,
There was an
sorry.
actual box, yes, all right, yes. But I see what the metaphorical box, don't put him in that. Put him in the coffin, sure, but not the metaphorical box. Yes,
I understand.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
Thank you.
I'm glad you brought up Kit Wilson as well, because he is someone, ever since he was sort of he debuted this side of him where he's against toxic masculinity. He's just captured the imagination of the WWE universe. I love seeing him with The Miz. There was a part of me last Friday on SmackDown that was very nervous that The Miz was just going to leave. Kit, they got me on that one. So I'm glad to see Miz Kit back together again.
Me too. And I hope he's got a new kit fit for Backlash.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
And the idea that he's made it okay to write poetry. I mean, can you believe, as long as you've watched professional wrestling, the idea that on one side you have a gothic vampire, and on the other side you have a gentleman that writes poetry. And the poet is the bad guy. The gothic vampire is the good guy. It's just the most remarkable, lovely thing. And it's such a great demonstration of how wonderful pro wrestling is.
It really is. There's nothing quite like it. And I love me some shenanigans, and I think we're going to see so many great matches, so many heated rivalries, but this will be the one match that's very different from everything else on the card. You're going to be entertained. You're going to laugh. I don't know what we're going to see. I have no idea who the mystery partner is, but I am very much looking forward to analyzing this afterwards on the post show, breaking it down, because it's going to be something. I know that. I don't know what it'll be, but it's going to be something.
Oh, absolutely will be something. Speaking of being something, before we get to something, let's get to something else. Tops Now captures major milestones and viral moments from the biggest events we saw on incredible cards already this year from WrestleMania. As they always do before PLEs, Tops put out a Backlash poster card. Customers who buy this card have a chance at receiving rainbow foil short prints and gold super short prints, limited to just 26 copies each. Cards are available Friday, May 8th until Monday, May 11th. Also, look out for WWE Tops Now moments from Backlash launching Monday, May 11th. As always, make sure you're following @Tops on social and sign up for notifications on Tops.com for the big moment cards from Backlash this weekend. In our main event at Backlash for the World Heavyweight title. Something that, a month ago, this wasn't in anybody's head. This wasn't on any bingo card. This wasn't anywhere. And now, all of a sudden, we have World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. B, he's wrestling at Backlash. And C, the guy that he's fighting, he doesn't want that title. He needs that title and everything that comes with it. Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns. you all know how much I love this bloodline story, and I am so happy how back we are. I am so happy how prominent Jacob is in this story. I cannot wait to watch the entire room change when this match begins and see what this match even looks like.
I'm excited too. The first time I saw Jacob Fatu in WWE, I thought world championships are coming for this guy. And this is the first opportunity. Beating the Tribal Chief is a very rarefied air. There are very, very few men who have pinned Roman Reigns. So him getting it done in Tampa, I don't know. But look, I love his reasoning too. Like, man, seeing the life that Roman has built for himself, seeing the draw, seeing the movies he's been able to do. Look, Jacob got 8 kids, all right? He got a lot of mouths to feed, okay? He needs that extra bread. And look, being a WWE superstar is one thing, but being the face of the company, being world champion, and all that comes with it, I love that for him. It's not personal. There's no real, it has nothing, there's a lot of family stuff here, but it's not even really about that. It's about wanting to provide for his own family, wanting to build a legacy for himself, wanting the things that Roman has built for himself. And you can't fault a man for that at all. What we do, this is prize fighting. That's what this is. It's not just people who get into conflicts for the sake of it, but with it comes championships, comes money, comes opportunities. And Jacob is someone who is not ready to sit back and be in catering and take his time and wait for an opportunity. I love that he's seizing this opportunity and coming off of that performance with Drew at WrestleMania and using that momentum to hotshot himself right till the Tribal Chief. I love the bravado. I love that he's not timid. I also love, as someone who is a huge Haku fan, bringing back the Tongan death grip, making it the Samoan death grip. I'm in. I am in.
Oh, especially with the historical connection between Jacob's dad and Haku. I mean, I also think that the reality behind this story, right? That Jacob is not just looking for what he's got coming now. Jacob's making up for lost time. This money is not new to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been making a lot of money for a long time, but when you think about it, the whole bloodline era, where everybody associated with the bloodline did very well for themselves, sitting on top of the industry, Jacob didn't get to be a part of any of that. Jacob wasn't even in the WWE for the entire 4-year run of the bloodline. And it feels like Jacob's not just coming for what Roman has today. Jacob's coming for every dollar he missed while he was not in the WWE and not invited to be a part of this bloodline.
And what I love so much about the bloodline and Roman Reigns being back on our TV screens are the layers that are involved in the storytelling. And, this is similar in a way to the Roman Reigns CM Punk match in the fact that there was no traditional good guy, bad guy. And I love the emotional roller coaster that it takes the fans on, from the entrances, the way it makes you feel when Roman is making his way to the ring, the way it makes you feel when Jacob is making his way to the ring. There are layers to this. There are nuances in the storytelling. And to me, when everybody says we're so back, that's what it means.
I would agree with that. And I would also, point out that it's gotten complicated for Jacob. Jacob has made a lot of enemies on his way, right? On one end, you have Roman, who's now getting along with the Usos, and the Usos have Roman's back in this whole thing, but the Usos' brother Solo and his MFT are sitting there looking at Jacob as well. Jacob is going through about 9 Samoans and Tongans just on his way to get to Roman Reigns. And the fact that Jacob has done it without missing a beat is like the most Jacob Fatu thing that he could possibly do.
And think of when Jacob came to WWE, who had his back? It wasn't Roman Reigns, it was Solo.
Solo couldn't order a cup of coffee to the building.
Well, he could order it. I don't know if he'd ever get it, but he could order it.
What a line that was. But no, you're right. I wonder how the Usos are involved as well on Saturday. That component, I think, is really going to be interesting because typically, I know Roman has had the bloodline with him for quite some time, but I think Roman wants to prove that he can get this done on his own, that he's not someone who needs to rely on the twins or rely on anyone else. But the Usos, to me, are that X factor of how are they involved? Because this is all family. Like, they all, in many ways, Roman was the cousin that they grew up with, and they were all like siblings, but Jacob also a part of that family. So that whole dynamic I find really fascinating. It's hard for me to believe that the Usos won't be involved at all. Also, will we see any MFT, any solo involvement? That whole dynamic I think is really fascinating.
Yeah, what does this version of Roman Reigns look like? Is this version of Roman Reigns one that is associated with constant interference from his family? Is this version of Roman Reigns one that does things on his own? We will find out at Backlash. I cannot wait. I cannot wait, E, to see what you do on that on that countdown show as well as on the post show. Meg, I cannot wait to get back together with you to recap the entire show here on WWE Now. It has been a pleasure. E, thank you so much. And we will see you again after Backlash.